All right, we're here with my good friend Bill Seaver. He is the founder of Micro Explosion Media, and he's going to talk to us today about how the church and church planters can use social media for the advancement of the gospel. Bill, in this new world that we're living in, how important is social media?
It's huge. There's millions of people worldwide using it. It's a great opportunity for anybody to connect with people not only locally in their community, but nationally and even across the country, around the world. Facebook, for instance, is huge. 400 some odd million people worldwide use it.
Wow.
And a lot of them aren't even in the U.S. So I think 2/3 of those numbers are not even Americans.
That's
so
amazing.
Just globally, Facebook, just as one little snippet of social media technology is huge. Social media, I look at it as two sides of the same coin. On the one hand, you have content, and on the other side of the coin, you have conversation. And so content and conversation is really sort of your social media currency. Well, so depending on which tools you're going to use is sort of which side of the coin you lead with. So Facebook and Twitter are social networking tools. Social networking tools are conversation tools. So if you're going to do Facebook or do Twitter, you lead with conversation. And then so your content is sort of secondary. So in the same way, a coin loses its value if you cut it in half. Social media, if you just do conversation, you don't do content, you're sort of cutting that coin. You lose the value. So blogs, YouTube, podcasts, all that's content. So you lead with content, you use conversation secondarily. So that's why a blog that turns the comments off is trying to say, we want to put content out there, but we don't want to engage in the conversation. So it's like they're trying to only use half the coin. And likewise, somebody who's just using Twitter to promote content is not using it for the conversation tool. It is. So understanding what the tools are is one thing. Using them the right way is completely different.
Now, off camera, we were talking about how you think the church should use social media differently than, say, a for-profit business. Talk to me about that.
So I work with churches, ministries, secular businesses. And when I'm talking to a secular business, the goal is always to earn attention. The way I recommend they do that is to earn attention from the right people. Meaning, let's not focus on the most people. Let's focus on reaching the right people. And let's do it in such a way that we earn their attention by giving them sort of things that they'll find valuable. So where that gets tricky with the church is that the church can't always do things that people will immediately find value in. You still need to be able to say hard things. Yeah. You can't just do whatever. You can't use it just simply to earn attention. Right. You can earn attention with it, but sometimes you just need to use it as a great communication tool as well.
Well, some of the churches that you've worked with that are using social media effectively, what are some of the things that they're doing right?
Well, I think it's a matter of knowing that, for one thing, you can save a lot of money. So there's almost nothing stopping you, financially speaking, from going in and using these things. So the great thing is you can reach people now probably more effectively than you ever could before, and more cheaply. So what they're doing well is, Facebook works well, Twitter works well, but it only works if the people you're trying to reach are using those things as well. So the stats tell us most Americans are using Facebook. Most are not using Twitter. So if I had to just choose one or the other, I would go toward Facebook, not go toward Twitter, just because the raw numbers sort of show us. But you got to sort of check out your own area. So if you find out that people are more likely to be blog readers than to even be part of Facebook, I would lead with a blog. And so the good churches don't just say, well, let's do Twitter because Twitter is what everybody's talking about, or podcasts are cool, or YouTube is cool because we got a video camera or whatever. It's let's find what the people will pay attention to. What can we use to reach them? And some of that you may just not know. You may have to do some experimenting with that, and then be willing to abandon the stuff that's not necessarily working at that point in time.
So what do you think are some of the pitfalls that you see churches and ministries falling into with social media?
A couple things right off the bat are just the amount of time that can be consumed with this stuff. And so, somewhere everybody has to figure out what that balance is going to be. Are you spending too much time checking your blog stats, tweeting, updating, your Facebook page, and then also, are you using the tools well just to serve people? Are you using it because you're just curious, you're sort of voyeuristically looking into people's lives, or do you sort of recognize something going on and say, I'm going to use this as a means to speak into someone's life.
What are some of the particular challenges that you've seen come up for ministries because of the social media trend?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of new and sort of interesting stuff for you to consider now. I mean, for one, you got Facebook affairs. I mean, that's a whole new thing. You got people sort of reconnecting with old flames from high school or college, and it's just something to deal with. Pride is going to sort of take root in new and different ways now. So maybe you're talking about you're thinking about how often you're checking your blog stats, or how many views does your YouTube video get, or are you saying things on Twitter because it's helpful or it's going to edify somehow, or are you doing it because you want people to know just how cool you are, or just whatever it is you're doing. And then just as a church, what do you deal with all the information people are putting online about themselves? Yeah. So they're confessing, whether they know it or not, all kinds of stuff. So if they're talking, if there are pictures that are inappropriate, or you see situations that they're in, as a church, how are you going to deal with that? Or talking about they're out getting drunk over the weekend. So how do you deal with drunkenness in that case with them, because they're proclaiming to the world that they're doing that? So I think those are some very interesting things that have to be considered now.
That's good. Well, Bill, thanks for your time.
Yeah.
This will help a lot of folks.